firing.
Leaders at Camp Pendleton are preparing for what's expected to be an extremely rainy winter because of a strong El Nino conditions.
From clearing drainage canals to having extra sandbags on hand, San Diego 6's Carlos Correa live in studio with the plan to protect both people and property. Carlos.
Jim and Netta, good afternoon. Yeah, officials at Camp Pendleton are looking over data that suggests major flooding is a potential for the future. And the mindset for the Marines isn't when it will happen, but how they will be ready for it. It's the images from January 17th, 1993 that Marines have a hard time forgetting.
Where we had some pretty devastating impacts here on the base.
Heavy rainfall that year led to major flooding, which caused damaged roads and bridges. Camp Pendleton's airfield was completely covered in water.
What you see behind me is really a large bathtub, and it sort of fills that in, caused lots of damage, loss of property. Some of the aircraft at the airfield were damaged, and the bridges were washed out and heavily damaged.
Almost 22 years later, how the base looks now, complete with a new stormwater pumping plant that helps prevent major flooding.
7 pumps at this facility that takes basically all of the collected rainwater and any runoff from the airfield, collects it in a wet well sitting here behind me. 7 pumps pump it up over the berm and back into the river. Each pump releases about 150,000 gallons of water per minute.
When the pumps kick on in sequence, the first pump kicks on at 1345 meters. Everything's measured in meters.
Managers at the plant say new funding is helping provide maintenance to the facility as it prepares for El Nino.
We pride ourselves on being the most ready when our nation is least ready.
Commanding officers are meeting regularly, taking a proactive approach. They are constantly planning and revising protocol. They are learning how to respond and then recover from major flooding when and if it happens.
Communications is something that you have to do anything militarily. And so obviously they're very important to us, particularly as we get into any kind of hazard situation.
Now, because how the base is laid out, Camp Pendleton experienced major flooding not just in 1993, but also in 2005 and 2010. Live in the studio, Carlos Correa, San Diego 6 News.
Carlos, thank you. That was very interesting. I didn't know the base had gone through all that.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, just, how many years ago? 93 was that footage, and it looks like this El Nino, everyone's talking about it being stronger.
So much rain, yes.
And actually, the ratings have come down. So now officially we are in a strong El Nino.